Well, hello, and welcome to the Tea with Tea. Today, I'm going to talk about healing your inner child. This is something that I'm still working on. And despite all the work that I've done over the past several years, there are times where I get triggered and I'm like, wow, there's something else that I have to work on. There's something else that my inner child hasn't healed from. And it's actually kind of beautiful when you really think about it, to be able to have these experiences, the awareness it takes to realize that, oh, here's something that I need to work through, that I need to heal. And sometimes I literally have conversations with myself, looking at myself in the mirror, or just even in the car driving. I'll talk to myself and be like, little Taryn, I know what you went through sucked. I know that what you experienced you didn't deserve to experience, but you got through it, and look at you now. Even though your life isn't where you want it to be yet, you are in an amazing place. You have come so far, you have grown so much, you have done so many things that you never thought you would do. And I tell myself how proud I am of myself, because that's something that I didn't have as a kid. I didn't have someone cheering me on and telling me how proud they were of me and all the normal things that parents and family are supposed to do. I didn't have that. So now I do that for myself. And for a really long time, I used to see it as like, oh, it sucks that I have to do this for myself, that I didn't have family or parents that supported me in that way. Occasionally, yes, they did. But generally speaking, as a whole, all the time, I was always on my own. I was always doing everything on my own. Even the things that I was successful with, even the things that I did well in school, because I was a theater kid, and I was kind of telling myself that I was doing good. I won awards in theater when we went to competitions and stuff, and it still never seemed good enough for my parents, my mother specifically. If you've watched my videos previously, you know that I mostly was raised by my mother. So when I say my parents, I really mostly mean her, because my father wasn't really around. Anyways, so I've been my own cheerleader for most of my life. I've had moments here and there where other parts of my family will support me, but generally speaking, I have been my own cheerleader my whole life. I've been the one cheering me on, telling me I'm doing a good job. And it got to a point where I was exhausted of not only doing the job or doing whatever it was that I was doing, but also being the one to encourage myself, cheer myself on, tell myself I'm doing a good job, even when I felt like I wasn't. And it got to a point where I just stopped. I was like, I have no one else in my corner, no one cheering me on. So what if I'm really not doing a good job? What if I'm really not as good as I think that I am? Even though I was winning awards and like doing well in school with my grades and all that kind of stuff, I was just questioning whether I was really doing a good job, especially because of how I was treated at home. The things that my mother would say to me, I was never good enough, or the thoughts that I was having were irrational, or I shouldn't be having them, or whatever it may be. My thoughts and feelings were always rejected at home. So it made me feel like my thoughts and feelings were invalid. And that bled into all aspects of my life, including my hobbies, the things that I enjoyed doing. I questioned whether I was good enough, or whether my thoughts regarding them were even legitimate. I thought that I was almost crazy at one point, where I was like, do I really think that I could do this? Do I really think that I can do this? Because at home, I'm being told that I couldn't do this. And at school, by people around me, I'm being told that I can't do this. Even though I feel in my heart that I can do this, everyone around me is telling me that I can't, or just not encouraging me. So why would I think that I truly can do this? And this has bled into my adult life. These thoughts still cross my mind today. Like earlier, last night, I had these thoughts of, can I really do this? Is this something that I could really do for myself? And yes, you can do whatever you set your mind to. It doesn't matter how far-fetched it may seem. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Whatever it is in this world that you feel that you are called to do, you can do it. Because the only reason you even feel the calling to do it, or have the thoughts to do it, is because you are capable. If you weren't capable, you wouldn't have the thoughts to do it. You wouldn't even think about doing it. It wouldn't even be a thought, because it's not for you to do and you're not capable. But because you have the thoughts, you are capable. Because God, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't put thoughts in your mind or present opportunities to you that you can't handle, that you're incapable of executing. That just doesn't happen. That's not how the universe works. So if you're thinking about doing something and you're questioning it, just know that you wouldn't be having the thoughts if you weren't capable of doing it. But regardless, I know I got a little off track there. Doing all that starts with healing your inner child. Being able to actually accomplish things in life and move forward, grow, become the version of you that you truly want to be starts with healing your inner child. I feel like so many of us don't realize how the younger version of us is just in pain, needs to be healed, needs to be comforted. And you can sit there and dwell on the fact that you didn't have that comfort at that time when you were that age or all throughout your childhood. You can sit there and dwell on that, or you can comfort yourself, because you may not be able to actually time travel, but in your mind, you can go back to the 8-year-old version of you, whatever the age may be. Let's just say 8-year-old version of you went through something traumatic and you still to this day remember it, see yourself sitting there crying and nobody was comforting you. You go back to that memory and you comfort yourself. You say, little Taryn, I love you. I know you're struggling and I know it hurts, but it's going to be okay. And although you can't actually go back in time and physically comfort yourself, you'll be amazed at how healing it is just to do that in your mind. The version of you that held that trauma, it almost like releases it or lifts it off your shoulders, or however you want to describe it. It helps you let go of whatever you experienced, because now as an adult, you can be the parent to yourself that you never had. And I know that might sound weird to some people who have not been on a healing journey or not ever looked into healing your inner child, but you can, you should. And I do all the time. I'll realize that the reason why I felt a certain way about something someone said to me was because a younger version of me was offended or was purposely made fun of or publicly embarrassed, whatever it may be, regarding that topic. And so now as an adult, no, I don't react and I don't like cry or whatever, but internally I'm like, why did that affect me? Why do I feel some type of way about someone saying this to me? And it's all because it leads back to a moment in my childhood where I went through something and didn't have anyone to help me work through it. Didn't have anyone to tell me it doesn't matter what people say about you. What matters is who you are and staying true to yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or their opinions of you. As long as you're true to yourself and you are the best version of you all the time, or the best of you in each moment, then that's all that matters. And as long as you continuously try to grow and be better, that's all that matters. People are going to dislike you regardless. No matter if you are authentically yourself or if you are a version of yourself that you think is digestible for society, people are going to dislike you. And I wish someone would have told me that as a kid, because I started to become this version of myself that I thought society would like better, and I shouldn't have. It caused me, even now, as almost a 30-year-old adult, to struggle to truly be myself. It's a struggle, a true struggle, to just be authentically me all of the time, where I don't feel like I have to change myself depending on what room I'm in or who I'm around. And yes, of course, at work you have to be professional, so take that with a grain of salt. You have to use your discretion on who you can be in each moment and regarding your environment. But generally speaking, you should be able to be authentically you. As long as your authentic self is not trying to hurt anyone, and in my opinion, if you're trying to hurt someone, then you're not really being authentically you. That's a version of you that is in pain or has some sort of trauma that you need to work through. But as long as you're not trying to hurt anyone, you should be able to be authentically you no matter where you are, who you're around. Whether you're goofy or you're straightforward or whoever you are authentically, you should be able to be you no matter what room you're in, no matter who you are around. Because regardless of where you are and who you're around, you're going to be disliked. Like I just said, whether you are authentically you or a version of yourself that you think is more digestible for society, you are going to be disliked by someone. So why not be disliked for being authentically you rather than being disliked for being a version of you that isn't really you? That's where I'm at. That's a realization that I'm having. And the crazy part is that I've heard this so many times over the course of my life. During my healing journey, I've heard this. Like, it makes more sense to be judged for being you than for being a version of you that you think is more digestible for society. But it's just now registering for me. It's just now sitting or actually resonating with me. So that's another thing is with this healing process, you can hear things in different ways a number of times, and it'll take years for it to actually land for you. And I don't know why that is. It just really depends on your experience and what you're going through and your consciousness level at the time, what you're able to actually comprehend and truly understand. Sometimes you'll hear the same thing over and over for years, and 5-6 years down the line, you're like, wow, that actually makes sense to me now. And that's okay, especially when it comes to healing your inner child, because there are so many different techniques and different ways to go about it and all this kind of stuff, but you have to figure out what resonates with you, what works best for you. Otherwise, you're just going to be at it trying to heal yourself with tools that don't work. It's almost like you're trying to fix a sink with a jack for a car or something. You're using the wrong tools for the wrong thing. So yeah, the importance of healing your inner child is immense. I truly believe that you cannot actually grow and move forward in life towards where you want to be without healing your inner child. And I feel like that's why I have felt so stuck for so long, is because there are parts of my inner child that I have not healed, that I didn't realize that I hadn't healed. And then as I go through certain situations, I realize that there are versions of me that I haven't healed yet. There are younger versions of me that went through trauma that I haven't healed yet, that I haven't even addressed yet. And I need to, in order to actually be able to heal myself and become the version of me that is capable of creating the life that I desire. Period. If you do not heal your trauma, your inner child, the versions of you that went through all the bad things, then you will not be able to create the life you desire. At least not nearly like you want to, or within the timeline that you want to. Even though time is a construct, but that's a whole different conversation. You have to heal in order to grow. So me personally, I do it by talking to myself or journaling. Whenever I get triggered or realize that there's something holding me back, and even more recently with my content and everything, I'm like, why am I struggling so much? Why do I feel like I can't be authentic online? And it's because a child version of me, a younger version of me that was traumatized by being harassed on social media, by being told that I was an attention whore, that I just did everything for attention, I just wanted attention, and like all this kind of stuff. I was traumatized by all that because I was just being myself and was being told that who I was wrong. So I have to heal that version of me and tell that younger version of myself, like, I know that what those people said hurt and that it wasn't true. Even if maybe they perceived it to be, it wasn't. I was just being myself, and that's okay. It's okay to be yourself. And have a whole conversation with a younger version of myself in order to heal that part of me that is still holding on to all that trauma from those kids harassing me. I had a very bad high school experience. I don't even want to get into it, but it was bad. And I didn't realize, because I worked through a lot of that in therapy, but I didn't realize how much it was still affecting, and how like there were certain situations that still affect me to this day. I didn't even realize until I'm triggered by something, and then I'm like, wow, it's because of this specific situation that happened in high school or middle school, whatever it may be. Like my just school in general was not good for me. So yeah, when you're triggered, try to find the root cause, because typically if someone says something to you about you or whatever, about how you're speaking, how you're acting, whatever it may be, and you get triggered by it, there's got to be a reason why. Not just because, oh, well, that's not true, so you get offended by it. No, because it doesn't matter. People can say things that aren't true about you all the time, and it doesn't really matter because you know who you are. So if you're triggered by it, then you have to find the root cause of where it's coming from. And typically it'll be something traumatic in your past, even if you didn't realize it was traumatic at the time. And then you have to work through that, heal that, however it may work for you. Journaling, talking to yourself, meditation, breath exercises, whatever it may be. Find a healing process that works for you, and I promise you, you will just blossom. You will just grow. And I've seen it for myself. Like, yes, I'm a little bit stuck right now in trying to figure out what parts of myself that I still need to heal, but throughout the past several years, I've seen myself just blossom by healing parts of me that I didn't even realize needed to be healed. Like, the version of me now is completely different from the version of me a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Completely different. And I love myself now more than I ever have. I'm the best version of myself that I've ever been, because I chose to heal my inner child, or start healing my inner child. It's still a process. I'm still working on it. But yeah, anyways, heal your inner child. I promise you won't regret it. And it might be hard, it may be difficult, you might cry a lot, but it's worth it. You will grow exponentially by doing so. Anyways, I love you, love yourself, and let's grow together.